Adeka. If you would always please remember to say your name when you come to the mic so we can hear it and understand. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Meg Fiedler, General Counsel for ADECA. This is ADECA's only contract before the committee today. It's a new contract with Horn LLP for grant program coordination and management services. And this is for our community development block grant disaster recovery program. And these funds were awarded to Alabama to aid in the impact of the 2023 tornadoes in Dallas and Autauga County. We issued requests for proposals, and this contract will be paid with federal funds.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Aaliyah.
Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Cohn with Aaliyah. Aaliyah has one contract today with J.M. Wood Auction Company. The contract is to provide auction services for public sale of surplus law enforcement vehicles. We're exercising our one-year renewal option.
All right, quick question.
Okay.
Is there a buyer premium on the stuff that we sell? I'm trying to understand why we're spending $200,000 when buyer premiums would normally cover a lot of auctions.
Okay, so the contract amount is a ceiling. The way that the contract is structured, J.M. Wood takes an 8% commission. So they sell all of these vehicles, they take an 8% commission, and they send us a check. Our last contract was only for $50,000, but during COVID, we didn't have an auction for several years, and then used vehicles were selling for a higher price. So we weren't sure how to structure the contract. So we set it up with a ceiling amount, so that $250,000, I think that's a little too much. So when we redo the contract again, we'll probably lower that. We have only used, we've actually only paid J.M. Wood $51,020 over the course of this contract so far. But
How
we
much
set it
again?
$51,020. But it's set up so that each year we have a ceiling of $250,000 that we can spend. But it's difficult to say how much each auction will bring because we just don't know how many cars will be sold or what the price will be. So we didn't want to put ourselves in a position where we went above the contract amount when we did an auction. But
So if I purchase a vehicle at auction and I buy it for $200, you pay $200 instead of $220 or something like that?
so the person that purchases the vehicle, if they buy it for $200, they pay $200. J.M. Wood takes their J.M. Wood receives the $200. They take their 8% commission, and then they send us a check for the remaining amount.
Have we ever considered a buyer premium on buying stuff or?
Honestly,
Just
I'm
a
not
thought.
sure, but it's something we could consider.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Conservation.
Good afternoon, Chairman Roberts, members of the committee, Juliana Dean for Conservation. We have 6 contracts before you today. 5 are engineering and related technical work. The first one is not. It's with Wildlife Solutions for feral swine mitigation efforts.
Any questions?
$350,000 to kill wild pigs?
That is a cap to the contract. It's on an as-needed basis, and it's just an amount that we are not going to exceed.
Is it statewide or?
Yes, sir, it is statewide, correct.
I'm going to carry this, and please ask Chris to call me.
Yes, sir, will do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The next 5 are engineering and related technical work. The first one is with TTL.
All right, any questions? Okay,
Okay. Owen Land Surveying for surveying services across the state.
any questions? Thank you.
Sure. The next 2 are with Mott McDonald.
All right, I have a question on that.
Yes, sir.
I've got a copy of the letter that explains, can you help me understand what happened here, please?
Yes, sir. Both contracts had expired on June 30th. We had every intention of bringing them before the June Contract Review Committee, and we did not receive the signed documents back in time. So
Okay.
we appreciate your consideration.
Okay. All right.
And the last one is with CDG for engineering services.
Let me ask you a question, bottom of page 4.
Yes, sir.
When will this be RFP next? It was RFP in 21, I believe.
Yes, sir. As soon as this particular project is finished with the Billy Goat Hole, it will be reprocured.
Okay. So 26,
Yes, sir, 26.
okay. Questions? Okay.
And
All
the
right,
last
sorry, go to
one,
CDG.
yes, sir. That's our last one for engineering services.
Any questions? All right, bottom of page 5.
Yes, and that's the final one for us.
I'm so sorry.
And no problem. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Early childhood ed?
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Burbank with Early Childhood Education. What you have in front of you is a final contract amendment for 5 months to finish out a contract that is paired with a federal grant that is set to expire December 31st of this year. So we asked for 5 months to finish out the contract and $34,000 to have all the closeout costs necessary for it.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Education? I have a few of these today, right?
Good morning, committee members. My name is Jason Swan. I'm the General Counsel of the State Department of Education. I'm pinch hitting today for Ms. Hammonds, and she left me a large, flexible folder of contracts to handle for the committee, so I hope I'm able to answer all your questions.
Thank you,
And,
sir.
Again, thank you for the indulgence, and I know we've got quite a few, so I don't know if you want to kind of split them up into to groups. We've got 20 contracts.
Right. Got the will of the committee. I'm fine. Does anybody have any questions on page 6? Page 7? Okay, go ahead, sir.
This is Nika Golston.
Yes, sir.
I meant, a hearing officer for $390,000?
These are two-year contracts, and again, like a lot of my colleagues, these are ceilings, and these are set by the number of cases that these individuals handle.
Okay.
There was a good bit, I'll just give you a macro questions. Several of the committee members contacted several of us to ask. I know there are 3 different functions that get performed here. One person in particular handles all 3 aspects, from hearing officer to mediator to the other part. And anyway, there's some questions about this. Does the department ever foresee where that might be handled internally or not internally? And I know there's some federal issues on the ones that are federal funds.
Right, and obviously, these are all RFP'd, and then we have to be a neutral and detached party from these processes. So that's why these are not handled within the Office of General Counsel or through our legal department.
Okay.
And again, these are all ceilings, and these are handled on every case
Case
gets
by
through a
case.
rotational basis, and it goes through the rotation. So that's why we have so many too.
All right, well, I'm good on page 7, page 8. Go to page 8,
Oh, page 9, sorry.
okay? Page 9,
Well, 8 and 9, you got Amanda Dickerson Bradley
right?
for $390,000 as a hearing officer to conduct due process in hearings.
Mm-hmm.
Then you've got Amanda Dickerson Bradley as a mediator to conduct mediations on those same exact hearings. Then you go to page 13, and she's a meeting facilitator.
Correct. So that's doing
she's-
all 3. That's what I was referring
Yeah,
to a moment
exactly.
ago. Yeah.
Each one of those different categories has its own RFP, and individual attorneys or can submit an RFP application.
I
for each one
realize
of
that,
those.
but she's getting to be judge and jury.
Well, I think, again, we handle those to where, that same person is not in the same line of each case. If she, if there's a conflict, obviously she would never be the same person to handle each step of the process.
All right, so she's got 390,000 under one contract, 150,000 under another contract, and another $130,000 off another contract.
And if the committee will indulge, I know Ms. Hammonds let me know that I think there were some questions about this last time, and we were able to pull this information from Ms. Bradley from, I guess, the last fiscal year, and it appears like, it appears from what we have as far as our financial reports that she received approximately $14,000 as a facilitator, $24,800 as a mediator, and then $154,000 for the due process hearing officer. So that's the combined totals for the contracts.
She couldn't
Right
be a
at
very good lawyer.
200,000.
If she only bills you that much money on a contract with a cap at $390,000, she's not a very good lawyer. Somebody needs to.
Well, again, they're handled on an as-needed basis. So these are hearings that actually are, coming to the office through a due process complaint.
Man, if I drive by my lawyer's office, he sends me a bill. I mean, if she's got a cap that high and she's only billing $14,000 on a $390,000 contract, oh well. I'm glad she's not taking full advantage of it.
Okay, we're on, so top of 13 was that question. Bottom of 13, any questions? Page 14, any questions? Page 15, any questions?
Guess who's got one?
Yes.
$3.8 million to a private firm out of Arkansas to fabricate a 53-foot custom trailer to include operating and maintenance expenses for to explore experience through a mobile workshop and tour. Be Proud will address workforce challenges. Don't we have another state agency that's working on workforce development? And the other question is, has anybody seen a schematic of this $3 million trailer?
Yes, sir. Obviously, this also involves our workforce council, and obviously our CTE, our career tech section at the department. And from my understanding, and I talked to him extensively about this because obviously that number jumped off the page at me as well. But I think the goal of this this trailer, this 53-foot trailer, is to, obviously you're familiar with career tech centers, and there's a lot of rural areas that don't have access to career tech centers and to have availability to some of these career tech programs that are pretty costly, and when it comes to the machinery and those kind of things. So apparently this company is the premier entity in the United States that built, and this was RFP, so it was an RFP process. We didn't just select this individual or this company. And they will build this trailer. They will monitor it. They will do the upgrades. They will, from my understanding, do all the maintenance on it as well. There's also some personnel dollars in there to help run the thing. But everything that I have gotten back from our office is they're extremely excited about this, and to give opportunities to kids that won't have that opportunity to go to a super nice career tech center like in Baldwin County or.
Who owns the trailer?
The department, the state will own the trailer.
So it's not going to leave the state. This private
No, sir.
company can't take our trailer and go to other states and
No,
make
sir.
money off of it.
They simply build these things, and
So this isn't the first one they've built.
no, sir. Mm-mm. They ended up, from my understanding, a group went up to Arkansas, or maybe it was the one that they had built in North Carolina, and did a tour, and they were able to take it out and go through all the whole processes and all the different things that the career tech trailer offered. And parents can also engage too, which is really a neat feature to not only have the students there to go through to see, hey, I'd like to do this, or, I think I can, weld, or, one of those kind of things. And the parents are also there to be able to tour the trailer and give input as well.
So is it going to be staffed by our employees or their employees?
We will have, we are paying employees to be able to go around with the trailer.
So this was like our old Science on Wheels project where they had the custom.
Similar, but on a larger scale, because Honda automotive facility, and the machinery that they use is extremely expensive. It's basically, very expensive computers and machinery and those kind of things. I'm excited about seeing it. I really am.
Send me a schematic. I'm not going to hold the contract, but I'd like to see something, what it looks like.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to top of page 18.
I'm done now.
Any questions on 18, top or bottom? Okay. Page 19. I'm sorry, you're done.
Yes, sir.
Any
Thank you,
other
committee members. And I'll make sure I get that schematic. I'll get it to the entire committee.
That'd be great. Thank you. Emergency management.
Hi, Nanny Reed, Emergency Management Agency, General Counsel. We only have one contract today, and it's a contract with Barry Dunn, and it's just for a strategic plan that's internal to our agency. 50% of the funds are from federal funds, and 50% are from state funds.
Help me, can you paint a little better picture of what this is, please?
Yes, we're seeking to sort of revamp our agency and to create a strategic plan for the future, a 5-year plan. And the leadership thought it would be better to have a contractor come in who's skilled at this, who has done several contracts like this around this particular state, even though they are from a different state, to come in to kind of help guide us through the process.
All right, any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Top of page 20, environmental management.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Russell Kelly with ADEM. We have 2 contracts today. First contract is time extension only. That is for a oil recycler that abandoned a site, and due to logistics and scheduling issues with the management entity, they needed more time to complete the job.
Okay, any questions? All right,
And the second contract that we have is to develop an online portal as it relates to our certification programs. We have both water and wastewater certification programs, a landfill certification program, and a well driller's licensing program. To date, those are all paper. It is the last bastion of paper applications that we have. So we're moving that to an online, and we RFP'd it, reviewed those. We got the lowest cost in this case, in this particular case.
so OpCert, look at the definition there, the OpCert staff, what is?
Operator certification.
Okay,
Yeah, that stands for, again, we have the water, our wastewater operators, in addition, our landfill operators. This will allow them to not only apply online, they can renew their license online and register their continuing education units.
is this with a board?
No, this is just with ADEM. Yeah,
Okay.
this is with us.
Sure.
Yeah, we took care of
Senator
that
Elliott was
one.
over here shaking a little bit. I was just making sure. All right. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Finance.
Taylor Nichols, Department of Finance. This is a no-cost time extension for Stephen Ward and Associates for a roofing and water intrusion consulting services.
On all state buildings.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Historic Commission.
Good afternoon. I'm Chad Stinson with the Historical Commission. Today I have a sole source contract in front of you with Friends of the Fort. They are in charge of preparing all of our educational material with Fort Toulouse. Our biggest event that they handle for us would be Frontier Days. This is a contract that we've had with them for roughly 25 years. So,
They're doing a good job.
yes, sir, absolutely. It's considered to be the largest gathering of fourth graders. So,
Yeah, I had a mother tell me about this. I was checking on this today, and she gave a glowing report. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Human Resources, on page 22.
I'm Jennifer Bush with DHR Legal, and I am here on a 9-month contract with Creative Information Technology, Inc. to add enhancements to the child care data management system that's currently being built. It's 100% federal funds.
I missed the last thing.
100% federal funds.
All right, any questions? You know, we don't like sole source.
Yes, sir, I do understand that.
Nothing personal on that. Okay, Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Legislative Services.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair Committee. Jimmy Intrican, LSA General Counsel. We have a contract in front of you right now for a study to be done by A+ Partnership for K-12 funding model analysis.
Any questions? I hope this goes very well. Thank you. sir.
I got a quick one. I think Senator Butler and myself, I think Senator Beasley are the only ones here that remember this 1994 court case where they mandated we change the funding formula. Because my county lost $48 million in revenue because of the change in the funding formula. That's the reason we put in that hold harmless agreement. But are we going to violate that court order if we change the funding decree handed down by Judge Price?
I am 100% confident that's going to be part of the analysis.
Yeah, because I don't want to. I mean, that was mandated by the court. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Committee.
Thanks, sir. Page 24, Mental Health.
Brian Penn, Mental Health. We have 4 contracts. First contract is Guidehouse Incorporated. It's an amendment to add time and funds. The vendor will design new services and redesign prior services for MI clients as it relates to the EPSDT settlement agreement.
Any questions? Everybody awake? Okay. All right.
The next one is Guidehouse again. This is Guidehouse Inc. amendment. It's add time and funds to this one. The contractor will provide technical assistance to the department and our providers to meet the SAMHSA grant requirements relating to the CCVHC program in the state.
Any questions? Thanks, Brian.
The next one is Family Cafe Incorporated. It's a new contract. Posted to the database, we did 344 direct solicitations. We had 2 responses. The contractor will provide up to 2,000 hours of training and technical assistance to the department in development and implementation of the statewide peer recovery system of care for people with serious mental illness and/or serious emotional disturbance, and provide training and technical assistance to each of the participating organizations.
Any questions? Thanks, sir.
Okay, the last one is eCare Senior Services, LLC. It's a new contract posted to the database. We did 497 direct solicitations. We had 1 response. The vendor will purchase and install telehealth hardware and software at designated sites in rural Alabama. Also train our substance abuse providers in the use of the equipment and provide data relating to the equipment to the department.
What will happen with the data they provide?
I don't know. Would you want me to find out?
Several of us work really closely on trying to get telehealth moving along.
Yes.
And I'm just would love to know what this data, how it'll be used, and what will be done with it.
Yes, sir.
If possible, please, sir.
We'll get an answer for you.
Thanks, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Public Charter School Commission.
Good afternoon. I'm Logan Searcy, the Executive Director for the Charter School Commission, and we have before you today a contract with SchoolWorks out of Massachusetts for $31,000 for strategic planning. The Commission would like to ensure that we have an appropriate plan to ensure high-quality charter schools in Alabama. This will be to establish context and a shared vision for all our stakeholders here in Alabama.
Okay, any questions?
Is this designed to help y'all overcome the problems y'all had in Washington County and down in Dothan?
Indeed,
Thank you.
Representative Pringle, we will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public Health.
Good afternoon, Sancha Howard for the Alabama Department of Public Health. We have one contract before you today with the Radiology Clinic LLC. This contractor would provide breast cancer screenings for the department and interpretation of radiology procedures performed. It's for $100,000 and it's 100% federally funded.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Rehabilitation Services.
Good afternoon. Courtney Dotson with Department of Rehab Services, Division of Vocational Rehab. One contract before you for a comprehensive rate study with the Public Consulting Group. They're going to be analyzing our current financial fee structure for the vocational rehab program.
And what happens when they analyze it?
Once they analyze it, we plan, as leadership, we plan to use that data to have a 5-year financial review of our fee for services to our community rehab program so that we can structure it to be sure that we are providing the correct amount of money to the providers in order to serve the individuals that we serve.
There you go. Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
School of Math and Science.
My name is Cecilia Godwin. I'm the Executive Assistant to the President at the Alabama School of Math and Science. I'm here today with one contract for MMI Dining Services Systems. We are a residential high school community, and we have to feed our children 3 meals a day when they're there. And this is 100% of the funds were paid through the Education Trust Fund.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Supreme Court.
Good afternoon. I'm Blake Lenser. I'm the IT Director for the Supreme Court. The contract you have with you today is with Quisitive for staff augmentation. We're trying to finish up our API with our case management system, and they'll help us do that.
Thanks for working. We had a little conundrum on them being registered for
Yes,
the
sir.
state. Appreciate that. I've got one question. Anybody else have a question? Yes, sir.
Your problem, job. So you're working on a computer management system for the court? Is that what this is?
We have purchased a case management system for the court from Thomson Reuters, and so we're trying to gather data from the lower courts using an automated programming interface, which is what API is. And these Quisitive team that we're trying to work with are Gold Microsoft partners, and we need their expertise, and I just don't have the staff, and so they're going to help us with that.
I just thought we already had a court system computer program.
Absolutely, we do. What this does is it allows us to pull information from the lower courts to automatically do that. What happens now is they'll send it up, and we have lots of clerks who are manually typing information into that new system, which, as you can see, could...
I thought that system had been around for a while.
The Thomson Reuters case manager systems?
The other one. The other courts, what is it?
The lower court system?
When you
Yes, sir.
file, it all goes into one database.
It does. And so we're pulling that data from that database.
What's the name of that system?
Oh.
Alicord, that's it.
Alicord,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you.
So you're hiring somebody to make Alicord's information transferred to the Supreme Court?
Yes, sir, but not just Alicord. We're also going to try and pull information from the state law office across the street about the attorneys and stuff, the bar.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, we're going to hold this. We have a committee member who couldn't be here today that requests this be held. We'll chat with you about that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Transportation.
Good afternoon. I'm Matt Leverett with ALDOT, and I've got 10 contracts in front of you today. The first is with surveying and mapping for subsurface utility engineering. That's locating underground utilities.
All right, any questions? Bottom page 29. Thank you.
The second is with Metro Analytics, and it's for work in our planning operations, doing traffic studies, safety studies, things of that nature.
Any questions? All right, what about next one?
Third one is with Terra Explorations, that's Cultural Resources Services.
Any questions? Page 31.
That's for Transportation Support Services, that's doing roadway plans on projects.
Questions? Thank you.
The next four are appraisers for
Appraisers.
right-of-way.
Any questions on appraisers? Going through.
My last two are supplements. The first is with Michael Baker as the owner's project manager on Mobile River Bridge.
Originally RFP'd April 19, awarded in June of 19. When do you anticipate this being RFP'd again?
I do not know that. We have been working with them through this process, and as you know, it's a lengthy process, and we're still in that procurement phase, so we do not want to change partners at this point.
Do we have any questions on this today from the committee?
I do, Mr. Chairman, and I'm not sure, Matt, you're the right person to address this to. I had sent an email a couple days ago to Clay. I know it's the time of the year that folks are out on vacation and may not be here, but I would, Mr. Chairman, like to hold this one until I can have some more conversations with the department just about status, where we are, where we're going. We're adding $3.42 million onto this contract and another total of another $10 million. And I don't really have a good path forward on the end of this and what that looks like. And I just would like to chat with somebody about it before we put any more in it. I don't expect it to be held very long, Mr. Chairman. Just need to chat with somebody.
Okay.
All right.
The last is with Gresham Smith, and it's for what we call our top operations. It's traffic signal work.
This on Highway 280 by any chance?
It's actually on multiple corridors throughout the state. We have regional corridors identified.
All right, any other questions here? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Youth Services, Pathway Incorporated.
Good afternoon. I'm Dudley Perry from DYS. We have two contracts on the calendar today. You've seen them both before. They're not new providers. Rather than tell you what you already know, if you have any questions, I'll answer them, please.
I know I have none on the first, bottom page 36, top of 37, or only one on 37. It's sole source.
Right.
And
that is sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. That really is a true sole source. That's the one that the federal OJJDP office, branch of the Department of Justice, approved for many states to participate in. It's the only one that exists.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we move on to legal services contracts. Page 38, ABC. ABC. All right. You got that noted, Madam Clerk? All right. Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission.
Good afternoon, Senator, members of the committee. This is a legal services contract with the Alabama Medical Cannabis Commission to provide litigation and non-litigation services for the commission.
Been a little litigation with this one, hasn't there been? Just a little
bit.
Yes, sir. Any questions? We had some form issues. We got those straightened out. Thanks for getting that done. All right, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney General.
Clay Crenshaw with the AG's office. I think we have 5 contracts with lawyers from the Cooper and Kirk law firm up in D.C. to help us with the transgender litigation.
Any questions on page 40? Have none?
Senator, litigation's on hold right now because the U.S. Supreme Court took a case from Tennessee, so these folks will not be billing yet.
Yes, sir. All right, 41, any questions? Top or bottom? Thank you. 42, top or bottom, I have no questions. Thank you. Appreciate it, sir.
Yes, sir.
Corrections, page 43.
All right.
Thanks, Clay.
I'm still here. All right, this first one is Richard Hill with Capel Howard, is continuing representation of some correctional officers in this litigation up in the Northern District.
All right, I'll walk through similarly on this one. Anybody got questions on 44? 45? I'm good for both those. 46? 47? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Court reporting, top of page 48.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm Victor Biebighauser. I'm the Executive Director of the Board of Court Reporting. And what you have with us is a 2-year contract for an administrative law judge. This is technically a new contract because the prior contract expired in May. It's the same terms and conditions and the same contractor as the one we've had. We have not had to use the ALJ to this point, and my objective will be that we will not have to use the ALJ in the next 2 years, but I can't totally control that.
Understand. Any questions?
Thank you for what you do.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
I can be hard on the boards every once in a while, but you do a fantastic job, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And I understand.
Appreciate that. All right, health planning and development.
Good afternoon. I'm Emily Marsall. I'm Executive Director of the State Health Planning and Development Agency, and this is a contract for legal representation from an appeal. Brookwood Baptist Health, Shelby Baptist Medical Center in St. Vincent's, and Affinity Hospital, DBA Granby Medical Center, and it was a CON decision that's been appealed.
Any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Legislative services.
Good afternoon, again, committee. At the end of the this last legislative session, there was a joint resolution that directed LSA to enter into an outside consultant contract to look at our state ethics laws, and this is that contract.
We're most anxious to see how this works out. All right, any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Medicaid, Ball, Matthews, and Novak.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Nick Hines, Assistant General Counsel with the Alabama Medicaid Agency. This is a no cost, no time amendment to a previously approved contract with Ball, Matthews, and Novak.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Public School College Authority.
Taylor Nichols on behalf of PSCA. This is a bond counsel contract. We have a new bond issue coming.
Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Senate President Pro Tem.
Good afternoon, committee. I'm coming today because I got an amendment to our
Can you state your name, please?
Melissa Tyndall, Senate President Pro Tem's office.
Is that 2 S's?
It is, 1 L.
All right, any questions for Ms. Melissa Tyndall? Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, committee.
All right, that concludes our meeting. We'll meet first Tuesday of August, 1:30. Look forward to having you here again. Thank you very much.